Oh, there we go. All right. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the weekly live where we give you all the information that you could possibly need to be successful in real estate. Today, we're live. Today, we're covering the number one mistake to avoid when flipping houses. Flipping houses is this sexy thing that I think a lot of people are interested in. Um, and flipping houses is great. You can make a lot of money flipping houses. You can find some really good deals. You can make some good profits. You can start stacking up that cash to go buy other real estate investments. Um, and flipping houses, you can make a lot of money. Matt and I have made a lot of money flipping deals. We've flipped deals with a lot of partners. Those have always been successful. We've made $100,000 fees when flipping. We've made $200,000 profits when flipping. We got a deal right now under contract that we're about to send some earnest money in for that we should make at least a few $100,000 flipping it without doing a whole lot of work. We've made 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand in less than 30, 40 days without doing any rehab to the properties. So flipping is always an exit strategy that you should consider. We always consider wholesaling, keeping it as a buy and hold, which is what we ideally want to do if the numbers make sense. And we also consider flipping it, taking that cash, and using that cash for other investments as well. But today, we're going to talk about, the title says number one mistake to avoid when flipping. Yeah, you know what? We'll roll with it. Number one mistake to avoid when flipping. All right. So the number one mistake to avoid when flipping is to go in without the knowledge of how to do it and how to do it successfully. There's a lot of risk when you are flipping houses, right? So you're buying a property, you're putting up cash, you're taking on debt, you have holding costs associated, you got a monthly mortgage, you're going to have property taxes, you're going to have utilities that you have to pay, you're going to have insurance that you have to pay, you're going to have to pay for contractors, you're going to have to pay for utilities if I didn't already mention that. And so it is a risky thing to take on if you don't know what you're doing. So you have to go in there with the knowledge of an expert and to know how to take this property from concept to under contract to close to managing the rehab to getting the draws from the lender to managing the contractors, making sure that they get paid and only paid when they're supposed to get paid, to getting it listed, to marketing it, to getting it sold for top dollar. And flipping, like I mentioned earlier, is a great way to it's a great way to make money in real estate. What I'd like to do, let's go to this chat here. Let's see where everybody's tuning in from. Who has flipped houses before and who is interested in flipping houses in 2023 this year? We got Chase. All right, welcome. Kat, you mind helping me out here? Jeff says, no doubt. That's why they call me the king of rehabs. TV fools, a lot of people. That's right. Where's everybody tuning in from? And are they flipping houses? Tuning in from LA. All right. You are going to flip some houses in 2023. Great. Cool. All right. How about you guys? Facebook, YouTube, y'all flipping any deals this year? Do you want to learn how to flip deals this year? LinkedIn too. All right. Cool. Hey, it's still not very clear. Houston. All right, Jeff. Right on. We got our number one LinkedIn fan here today. All right. So number one mistake to avoid when flipping, like I said, is to not have the knowledge of what you're doing. Flipping is risky. You can lose a lot of money flipping houses. It's different than wholesaling, right? Wholesaling is good because you're not actually buying the property. You're minimizing your risk dramatically. So Chase says he has seen flips and he would like to flip in 2024. Well, I'm going to challenge you, Chase, to not push it off a year. If you got a goal, go out and accomplish it now. And we're going to talk about some ways that you can do that today. All right. So, yeah, like I was saying, with wholesaling, you're not actually buying a property. You're just assigning the contract or you're double closing on it. And so you're minimizing your risk dramatically. You don't have monthly payments when you're wholesaling deals. You don't have contractors that you're overseeing. You don't have a loan. You don't have insurance you're paying for. You're not paying the property taxes. You're not paying utilities. You're not responsible for any of that stuff when you're wholesaling. But when you flip, you are responsible for that. And so you are taking on a lot more risk. Now, with that risk comes a higher return. So if you're wholesaling a deal to a flipper, you might make let's say 10, 15 grand as a wholesale fee. But when that flipper takes over and they flip it, maybe they make 50, 60 grand. So instead of wholesaling that deal, if you decided to flip it yourself, you could in turn make that 75 grand versus the 10 to 15 that you might make wholesaling it. But there is the extra risk that's involved. And so you need to know what you're doing. So the first thing that I'll say, number one mistake to avoid when flipping is to not have the knowledge. Number one mistake, not have the knowledge. The KNOW. You need the knowledge. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to analyze the deals. You need to know how to get the financing. You need to know how to get in and out, how to not get stuck, how to not get caught up in this fantasy of making this property with this like very cool design, and it's got to have this and this, and not managing your contractors appropriately, and you end up losing money on the deal, or you don't find the right listing agent, or you try and sell it for sale by owner and you end up losing money. That's a nightmare that you have to avoid. And that is the number one mistake to avoid when flipping, is to not have the knowledge of what to do, and how to do it. So first, let's go over a few things here. I want you to let's look at some numbers. All right, so let's say flip or flop. What did we come up with last night? No. Ready, set, flip. All right, ready, set, flip, guys. You ready? Ready, set, flip. Okay, so we got a property. Let's say purchase price is $200,000. Let's say the rehab needed. So this is purchase price. Let's say the rehab needed is let's say it's 35 grand. Let's say the hold time is going to be 2 months for you to get the work done and then get it sold. Can we zoom in here? There you go. All right, hold time is going to be 2 months. And let's say the ARV is, what's the ARV? Oh, well, that's an easy. Yes, we're flipping it. All right, let's say the ARV is 375. Dead cat bounce says 550. And if the ARV is 550, you're purchasing it at 200, only needs 35K in rehab, whole time 2 months, you should flip it all day long. All right, I want to ask y'all, do we flip this or do we not flip this? $200,000 purchase price, $35,000 rehab. Whole time is 2 months. ARV is 375. Let's it's still blurry. ARV is 375. TikTok, are you flipping it? Instagram, are you flipping it? Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, are you flipping it? Let's have a little contest here and let's see which platform is the strongest and the smartest platform. Huh?
Ralph says hold.
All right. Well, question is do you flip it? Do you buy it and flip it, or do you not buy it and not flip it? Do you buy it or do you not buy it? All right. Let's run some numbers here. So purchase price is $200,000. Are you going to pay closing costs? Buy it and flip it? All right. TikTok, TT, has got 4 votes for buy it, 1 vote for not buy it. All right. 4 and 1. Insta, where's Insta at? Huh? 2 for buy it, 0 for not buy it. All right. We got 1 over here on, we got 2 LinkedIn. All right. So we got 2 on LinkedIn. LI. All right. Let's run through some numbers here. So if you're buying it for $200,000, what is going to be your closing costs that are associated? Are you going to have lender origination points? Yes. Are you going to have title and escrow closing costs? Most likely. You can negotiate it. Are you going to have to pay for insurance? Yes. Are you going to have to do prepaid interest on your hard money loan if you close in the middle of the month through the end of the month? The answer is yes. So let's say we buy it for $200,000. And how much money are you going to have to put down? So what's your LTC? What's your hard money lender going to give you for LTC, your interest rate, your points on the deal, how long's your term? These are all things that you should know. When you see a deal, you should be able to run through these numbers in your head and figure it out very quickly, whether or not you should buy it or pass on it. Or, like I said, this is just one exit strategy. Maybe you get under contract and you wholesale it. Maybe you get under contract and you keep it as a buy and hold. But today, let's focus on flipping. Let's run the numbers on flipping. So let's assume that in this scenario, I always run out of room on these things. All right, so your down payment, how much cash you need to do this? Well, you could come up with the cash yourself for the down payment and closing costs and to start the rehab. You could partner with somebody. You could give TRE a call and say, hey guys, I got this flip. It's an amazing deal. I love it. Great location. Doesn't need that much work. We're going to make a killing on it. All I need is for you to come in. Let's split this deal. And you put up the cash for the down payment. I'll run the rehab. I found the deal. I'll work with the listing agent to get it sold. And let's split this deal and flip it together. So you don't have to have cash. You can go partner with somebody. But let's say that they're going to give you, the hard money lender is going to give you 85% LTC, which is loan to cost. So what's your cost with this flip? Well, it's your purchase price of $200 plus your $35,000 worth of rehab. So $235,000, and your lender is going to give you 85% LTC. They're going to fund 100% of the rehab for you, but they'll only lend you 85% LTC. So that puts you at $200,000 that they'll give you for the loan. So that means you need to come to closing with $35,000. So your down payment is going to be $35,000. Oh, $35K. That's what you need to come to closing with for your down payment. But you're also going to have closing costs. So they're lending you $200,000. They're likely going to charge you 2 points on the deal times 0.02. A point is an origination point. So 2 points is 2% of the principal balance that they're loaning you. In this case, 2 points on $200,000, which is the 85% LTC, is going to be $4,000. And let's say you got to pay $1,500 in escrow, title and escrow closing costs, recording fees, copies, all the nonsense they charge you for. So $5,500. All right. Closing costs. So, but you also have to get this hard money lender. They're going to require that you have insurance on the property. It meets all their criteria. It's paid in full the moment that you buy it. So you're actually going to have to bring an extra $3,500 to pay for your insurance premium. Now, this insurance premium, if you're only working on this property for 2 months, you'll be able to get a refund back for the remaining 10 months that you don't use. But you have to pay for it in full upfront. So then we got an extra $3,500. A little dollar sign. Insurance. You might have a few extra closing costs, but let's roll with this. So to purchase this flip, getting an 85% LTC loan from your hard money lender, $35,000 worth of rehab, $200,000 purchase price, puts you at $44,000 you got to bring to closing. So your total cash to close is going to be $44,000. So you got to bring this to closing. $44,000, my favorite number, 44. $44,000 you got to bring to closing. Now, does your rehab, does it include this number here? Or how do you get your rehab from your lender, your draws? Well, what you have to do is come out of pocket first, or you can time it correctly where you get your contractors to do the work, you get an inspector to come out there, inspect the property, send that report back to the lender, lender sends your draw, and then you're able to pay your contractors with your draw. So if you're able to do that, time it correctly, and schedule everything accordingly, then you don't have to come out of pocket anything, but you might have to order some materials. You might have to, you might have to order some materials. You might have to pay your contractor 1 or 2 draws prior to getting your draws from the lender. So you're going to need $44,000 just to buy it, but you also got to pay utilities. You also probably have to order your materials. You probably have to send your contractor a draw or 2, or give him some sort of down payment, he or she. So you're going to need some reserves as well. And this hard money lender is likely going to require that you have some sort of reserve in place too. They always request your bank statements, and they want to see that you have at least some money in place. I think they want like 6 months worth of mortgage payments shown in your bank account. You're also going to have your mortgage payments coming up. So you need more money than this $44,000. But let's say you're able to get this done, and let's say you're able to get this done in the 2 months, get it sold at this $375 value. So let's start subtracting. Let's do some backwards math here. So we're going to take $375. I'm going to assume that you're not a licensed real estate agent, and even if you are a licensed real estate agent, I'm going to assume that you're not the best listing agent in the world, or in your city, or in your market. And if you are, then great. But if you're not, for your flips, I recommend hiring the best. Everybody always trips out about paying commissions and, well, I'm trying to save on my costs here, I'm trying to save on my costs there. You don't want to hire cheap people to do the work on your rehab, on your flips, whether that's doing the rehab, whether that's a listing agent, a discounted service. If you're paying a discount for something, you're likely going to get a discounted result. So I would recommend hiring the best licensed real estate agent that you can to sell your flip for you. They should be able to sell it higher than the discounted services. They should be able to do the proper marketing. They should be able to do the best negotiations on your behalf, and they should get you as much money as you can possibly get. Therefore, covering the cost of commissions, and you end up walking away with more money than you would if you tried to do for sale by owner, or you pay one of those listing services $100 or something to throw it up on the MLS. I promise you, you won't regret hiring a great real estate agent. Now, that doesn't mean going out and hiring any real estate agent. I said great, and I said the best. So you want to hire the best to list your flip for you. So let's start doing some math here. Again, this is assuming you're paying 6% commission on the sale price when you list on the market. So I take that purchase price, sale price at $375, and we're going to have closing costs here too, right? So you're going to have 6% of the sales price going out for commissions. You're likely going to have some more escrow closing costs. You may have to do some negotiations in a market like this one where you have to give a concession to the buyer. So maybe that's another % or two. So I'm going to assume that you're going to keep, just for closing costs on the sell side, conservatively underwriting this, let's assume that you only keep 92% of it. So 375 times 0.92, that puts us at 345. Now, we want to start subtracting other costs. Kat, remember that number, 345. 345. All right, so you got a mortgage on this property, you had utilities on this property, and you got property taxes on this property. So let's assume that property taxes are $500 a month. Let's assume that your mortgage, remember you got a principal loan amount of 200 grand. So 200 grand times, let's call it 11.5%. Yeah, times 0.0115. These are interest-only hard money loans. And let's say you paid that for 2 months, plus $500 for property taxes, plus let's call it $400 for utilities, times, did I do that right? 2,200. Got people texting me. It's distracting me. 2,200 plus 500 plus 400 times 2. All right, so $6,200 that you're going to have in holding costs, utilities, taxes, mortgage. So 345 minus, what did I say, 6,200 minus, now we want to subtract the amount that we spent in rehab. Yeah. 75.92 minus our holding costs, 6,200, minus our rehab of 35 grand, minus our purchase price of 200,000, minus our closing costs and insurance, so 8,800. How much did we make, guys? TikTok pulled the trigger. Instagram pulled the trigger. Chase pulled the trigger. If everything goes according to plan, you would have just made, can y'all see all the way down here? You would have just made $95,000 flipping this house. Assuming everything goes according to plan. Now, it never goes according to plan. There's always going to be something that messes up your plan. There's always going to be a pipe that starts leaking. There's always going to be a contractor who messed up. There's always going to be something's going to happen. I guarantee it. It's never going to go perfectly according to the plan that you have when you're first starting out to flip this property. It never does. Whether it's good or bad. Most of the time, it goes not according to plan in a bad way, but sometimes it goes not according to plan in a good way. And you have to do less work, or you get materials for cheaper than you thought. So you need to understand these numbers. You need to understand their relationship together. You need to understand how all of this flows. And if you don't understand all these things, and this is just 1/100th of everything you need to know to flip houses. But if you don't understand this, this is the problem, and that is the number one mistake to avoid when flipping is not having the knowledge. What, we got questions? All right, so first, you need to make sure that you have a good team. A great team. Who do you need on your team? Well, let me tell you. You need lenders, you need contractors, you need real estate agents, you need people out there finding deals for you. You have to have a good team. You're not going to be able to flip this house all by yourself. You're going to need to utilize other people to help you out. And if you want to be successful in real estate, you have to have a good team. If you want to go far doing anything in general, you're going to need a good team. So first thing is you need a good team. Second thing is you need to know the 4 rules of flipping. If anybody can give me the 4 rules of flipping, can we zoom in here? If anybody can tell me the 4 rules of flipping in the next 60 seconds, I'll give you $100. We'll Venmo you $100 directly to you. You have to comment the 4 rules of flipping. All right, so then you need to know the 4 rules of flipping. Timer starts now. The second thing you need to know is your market. Third thing, sorry. Know your market. All right, so know your market. Where's your market? What is the median sales price in your market? What's the demand for the market? How much do loans cost in your market? How much do materials cost in your market? What are contractors going to charge you in your market? Every market is going to be different, and you need to pick a great market to flip houses in. You don't want to go flip a house in some random town that's got a population of 300 people and expect for there to be a tremendous amount of demand for this house. If you go do that in a market that has only got a population of 200, the only jobs there are the local grocery store. You have to go 4 towns over just to go to a McDonald's. These are not great markets to flip houses in. I mean, it's possible and you can for sure make money doing it, but the demand for a house in that market versus the demand for a house in Austin, Texas, or Denver, Colorado, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Arizona, certain places, Phoenix. The demand in these hot markets versus the demand in these small markets is just so much different. And you want to take the gamble on the hot markets versus the not so hot markets. So you have to know your markets. All right, timer's up. Did anybody answer? Nobody answered. Nobody knows the 4 rules of flipping. Y'all need to go check out the course. This course tells you exactly how to analyze these deals, how to do all these things. Flipping houses made easy. Links in the bio. But you need to know your market. Fourth thing you need to know. Keep saying second. Fourth thing you need to know is what makes a good deal. I can't believe they just missed out on $100. All right, so what makes a great deal? You need to know this. Is it, is it the market? Is it the price point? Is it the amount of rehab needed? What makes a good deal? And how do you know a good deal when you see one? And how do you know which deals to pull triggers on and which ones you don't? All this knowledge and everything I'm about to go over, this is what you have to know if you want to go out and flip houses. It's imperative to know all these things and to know how to operate all these things and make them work together in order to make money. Real estate investors are gamblers in the sense. We do have some gambling in our blood, but when we do all these things right, we follow the 4 rules of flipping. We don't budge on any of them. We know our market. We know what a good deal is. We have a great team in place, and everything else I'm about to cover. It's not so much a gamble. You're taking calculated risks. But the moment you go out there and you don't know what you're doing, and you take on all this leverage, you put all this money up, and you make mistakes, that's where you lose money. And that's where real estate investing gets a bad name. It's all these rookies going out there and complaining that they lost money when they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't invest in themselves. They didn't invest in their knowledge. They didn't invest the time and everything required to get the experience necessary to make money. What is TikTok upset? I called him a rookie.
No, Philip just answered. Or
You're late, Philip. But those are close. You're late, number one, and you're a little bit off. But I'll give them to you, Philip. All right. What makes a great deal? Second thing is sorry, I keep saying second. Next thing is you need to know how to go from motivated seller. I'm going to simplify this a little bit so I don't run out of paper. But you need to know how to go from motivated seller all the way to closing. So what does that mean? This can be broken down even further. So going from motivated seller all the way to closing, this means being able to pick up the phone, knowing what to say, knowing who to contact, knowing how to identify motivation, knowing how to set the appointment, knowing what to do when you get to the appointment, what to look for, what questions to ask, how to build a rapport, how to start the negotiations without seeming as if you're starting negotiations, how to negotiate, how to get the price that you need, how to run the offer formula in your head so that you know you're going to make money, how to write up the contract, how to get the seller to sign the contract, how to get that contract to the title company, the escrow officer, the closing attorney, then how to go contact your lender, private money, hard money, partner, whatever it might be. Say, hey, look, I got this beautiful deal. We're going to make a lot of money. I need you to send me I need you to give me a loan for this project. I'll give you this much. You give me that much. We'll get this deal closed. I'll pay you this monthly mortgage payment every single month. And I'll get your money back to you in less than 6 months. You need to know how to do all these things. Who do you contact? Where do you find motivation? How do you find deals on the MLS? How do you find deals off market? When you're talking to the listing agent for a deal on the MLS, what do you say? What questions do you ask? What do you look for? How do you start negotiating? When you're finding off-market deals, how do you do the same thing? What do you tell them? How do you identify what their motivation is to get the best deal possible? You know, a lot of people make a mistake and they think that everybody cares about money. Everybody thinks that purchase price is the most important thing when it comes to purchasing real estate from somebody or somebody selling real estate or anything for that matter. And usually money is the least motivating factor for somebody to sell. Sure, they don't want to lose money. Sure, they want to get as much money as they possibly can. But there's so many other factors that come into a deal and someone's decision to sell or agree to sell at a certain price that don't have anything to do with price. It could be timing. It could be how fast they can get their cash. It could be something you're providing them, like helping them find a new place. It could be removing a mobile home off the lot. We had one guy who got blown up by, I don't know if he was in pre-foreclosure or something, but he got blown up by like 100 real estate investors. I give him a call and I say, hey man, we want to buy your property, but we gotta get it here at this price. You know, he started telling me, well, I need to get this much. You know, my neighbor sold for this much. Blah blah blah. I said, look, he had a mobile home on the property or a manufactured home. I said, look, we don't care about the manufactured home. You can have it. You keep the manufactured home, but we need to buy this lot at this price, and we'll help pay to move your manufactured home wherever you want to move it to. And he was like, man, that's awesome. Like, yeah, you can pay whatever price you want for this lot. You know, yeah, I can go down to your price if you help me spend the $5,000 to $8,000 to move this manufactured home over to, you know, this city over here. He was in love with this manufactured home. He remodeled it himself. He was so proud of it. He'd lived in it for so long. His kids' bedrooms were in there. He loved this manufactured home that he did not care what price we paid for the property so long as he got to keep his manufactured home. Great. We don't want the manufactured home. We want the dirt. So there's so many situations like that. We've told people, we've gone to appointments where we tell people, hey, look, you could probably sell your house for $330,000 if you would only put $10,000 worth of work here. You've started to do the flooring throughout the house, but you haven't finished. So if you would just finish that up, if you would throw some new paint on it, if you would do just a little bit of landscaping on the outside, like clean up those bushes, rip out that bush, mow the yard, you could probably sell your house for $330,000. But we got to list it. We got to put a sign in the yard. We got to host open houses. We got to show the property. We got to come in and take pictures. She was like, nope, I do not want to do that. How much will you give me cash right now? Closing, get me out of here. I'm ready to leave Leander, Texas. I want to go move to Dallas. I've already got my place over there. I just want to get rid of this now and move. We said, sure, well, we can close in 20 days and we'll pay you $180,000. She's like, great. It is that was what, $150,000 less than she could get if she would just wait 60, 70 days, put $10,000 worth of work into it. She would have made $130,000 more, but none of that was important to her. She wanted to be done. She wanted out. She wanted to move to Dallas. She didn't want to deal with any of it. So we came in, offered that amount, and she was elated. She was so happy that we were able to help her out of that situation. Again, I'll repeat it. Price is not the most important thing. So you need to know, you need to have the knowledge of how to talk to a motivated seller, how to ask the right questions, what to listen for, and how to structure deals around what's important to them. This comes from experience. This comes from knowledge. This doesn't come from, you listening to one podcast. You got to invest in your education. You got to get out there and invest in your experience. That way you can learn exactly what to do, how to do it to guarantee that you make money. So what makes a great deal? Motivated seller all the way through closing, all those steps that I mentioned. And then here comes the fun part. All this stuff is easy. This stuff's a cakewalk. But the fun part comes when you got to babysit grown men. So now you got to manage the rehab. All you contractors listening, that wasn't an insult. But if you are a contractor on here, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. If contractors would just do what they say they're going to do, show up on time, do quality work, if we could find a contractor who could do those three things, you would be the wealthiest contractor in the world. But there's always one of those things missing. I don't know which one it is. Sometimes it's two, sometimes it's one, sometimes it's all three. But one of them is always missing. So now you got to manage the rehab. Now, there's a few things that go into this. You got to order the materials on time. You got to have the materials on site so the contractor can do their job. You got to find the right contractor. So what do you look for in contractors? How do you hire the right contractor? How do you know who's a good one, who a bad one is? These are all things that you need to understand. You need to know to avoid losing money and avoid making mistakes. But you got to manage this rehab. You got to get the materials there on time. You got to hold your contractors accountable. You got to show up every single day. You got to be a presence on the job site. You got to get them what they need. You got to check in with them. You got to make sure they're doing everything the correct way. And this is a time-intensive and potentially frustrating process if you got bad contractors or you don't know what you're doing. So you need to know how to get good contractors, and you need to know what you're doing, what to look out for, and how to push that thing all the way through closing. All right, so we complete the rehab. I'll give you guys this little tip. Never, ever pay a contractor for work they did not complete. Write that down, just like this. All right, so manage the rehab, see it all the way through. Yeah, thanks, Kat. Make sure you guys are taking notes. Have y'all written all these down? Have you written down the 4 rules of flipping? Philip, you're so close, man, but no cigar. Um, Make sure you write all these things down. Manage the rehab. Hire a what? Who you hiring next? Can we make this not blurry? Who you hiring next? I told y'all at the start of this live that you should hire. Now we're both blurry. That you should hire a great listing agent. You need to hire a great listing agent. Again, I'll say it. Do not try and sell for sell by owner. Do not go and hire a discounted listing agent. Go hire the best listing agent in your market. You won't regret it. They will market your property correctly. They will have buyers for your property. They have the network. They know all the people buying in the area. They'll have the best listing. They'll show the property. They'll host the open houses. They'll negotiate the best on your behalf. I don't know if you will ever regret in your real estate career as an investor hiring the best in anything. Hiring the best listing agent, hiring the best contractors, lenders, whatever it might be. Hire the best listing agent to sell your property for you. Yes, they're going to get paid a commission. Yes, you are going to pay that commission. But it's better than selling for a discount yourself or having someone who doesn't care about your flip selling your property, because you're guaranteed to lose money at that point. You're going to leave money on the table somewhere. I guarantee it. Hire a great listing agent. Do not micromanage this listing agent. You're not a listing agent, or you're not listing it yourself if you hire one. Therefore, you trust their expertise better than yourself. So let them do their job. Set the proper expectations. Tell them what you expect, how much you want to sell for. Listen to their advice on what they think it should sell for, what they think you should list it for. But ultimately, it's your decision. Ask them how you can help, what you can do better, what you can do for the property, how you can make their job easier. Work with them. You guys are a team. Remember, you're building a great team of contractors, lenders, agents to get this property sold. So hire the great listing agent, work with that listing agent to get the best offer possible, get it sold. And then last step, I think you all know how to do this one. Maybe. If you don't, then keep coming back to these lives because we're going to teach you how to do it. You need to collect your money. And so you need to know how to do all these things. If you don't know how to do all these things, you might lose money flipping houses. You need the knowledge, and you need to make sure that you go into this fully understanding the risk, that you analyze these deals correctly, because if you don't follow any of these steps, or if you don't even know the 4 rules of flipping, you don't know your market, you don't know what makes a great deal, you don't know how to identify motivation, go under contract, see it all the way through closing, manage the rehab, hire a great listing agent, it's a possibility that you could lose money, and that'll leave a bad taste in your mouth, and you may never invest again. We've never lost a single penny investing in real estate, whether we were wholesaling, buying holds, flipping, seller finance, sub 2. Never lost a single penny, but it's because we know all these things. And if we don't know all these things, we invest in our education, we invest in our knowledge, we invest in experiences so that we can gather this information in order to do things successfully and not lose money. But most importantly, the number one thing, write this down. If you don't know any of these things, but you know how to do one thing well, write this down. If you can be great at buying good deals, if you could just take one thing away and be great at buying good deals, you dramatically decrease the amount of risk that you take on when flipping houses. All right, let's answer some questions. Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, a lot of this information is public, right? Keep joining these lives. Join our free webinars that we put on. We've got a real estate investment workshop, the Entrepreneur Real Estate workshop. That's going to be live in person and virtual if you decide to go that route. That'll be April 29th. It's an all-day event here in Austin, Texas, the biggest real estate workshop in Texas, period. You're going to be able to network with over 300 plus people there. You're going to be able to build your team. You're going to learn the 4 rules of flipping. You're going to learn how to figure out what makes a great deal. So you can go to that. Tickets are so cheap. For like $100 you may spend on that, you'll get millions of dollars worth of knowledge and information. And then we also have a flipping course that we just launched, House Flipping Made Easy. Kat will put it in the links in the bios. It should be everywhere right now, and we're running a special right now for you guys joining here today. You get this flipping course 50% off, and we'll throw in a free ticket to come to the real estate investment workshop. We're going to be able to network, find a great team, learn what makes a great deal, and this flipping course covers all these things. You go through this flipping course, you take notes, you go through it a few times, and you follow everything it says in there. It's what, $498 right now. We typically sell it for $997. It's 50% off. It's $500, and you get the flipping course and a free ticket to the Entrepreneur Real Estate Investment Workshop. And that's millions and millions of dollars worth of information. You have to use the coupon code FLIP, FLIP, to get that 50% off. But anyways, that's what I would do. Is I would go, and it doesn't even have to be ours. Go invest in it somewhere, but invest in your knowledge, invest in your education. There's so much of it out there, but don't go out and make these mistakes and not have the knowledge in these areas. Anything else?
A realtor in Houston, Texas just said he can connect with people.
Cool. All right, that's it, guys. Don't make these mistakes. We'll see you again next week. Go take advantage of that offer. It's limited time. For the free ticket, you have to take advantage of that offer this week. You get 50% off the course, house flipping, made easy, simplified, all these things in there. And you get a free ticket to the event that we're launching in April. It's an in-person event. You're going to be able to network. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to make connections. You're going to find partners. You're going to find capital for your deals. If you got capital, you're going to find people with your deals. And if you can't attend in person in the best city in the world, then you can attend virtually, and we'll get you that ticket. Till then, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you take all these notes down. Go check it out. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next week.